In 1819, Mary Aikenhead, who was our foundress, was asked to, the congregation began in 1815, so 1819 it was just 4 years, 4 years old. And Mary Aikenhead was asked to come and take over the refuge, which was here since 1814. But the people who had it at the time were finding it difficult to keep it going. So Mary Aikenhead came with some of her nuns to take it over. And with the taking over of the refuge, at the same time the sisters went visiting the sick, poor in the area and in the parish. And ever since that beginning, the sisters have visited the sick, poor in the parish here. At the very beginning, the education of the poor children was seen as a great priority, so that the poor could get an education that the rich were able to pay for. And the schools here started, the primary school. And then way back with the development of secondary education there in the 50s, here in Stanhope Street there was a secondary top which developed into the secondary school as we see it today. Mary Aikenhead there at the very beginning brought the novices here. So at the beginning of the congregation, this became the training place for the young sisters, and it was here for many years. At one time there was a great cholera outbreak in Dublin, and many of the patients were nursed in Grange Gorman, and some of the sisters from here went up there to help out in the nursing of the cholera patients, which was a great risk to themselves, but they went from early morning until late at night nursing the cholera patients. At another time while Mary Aikenhead was here, there were 2 women condemned to death in Kilmainham jail, and they asked, the governor of Kilmainham asked if the sisters could go there to console and help the women before they were executed. And the sisters, 2 sisters from here went to Kilmainham, and they stayed with the sisters, with the 2 ladies, until they were actually taken out for execution. And since that time, visitation of prisoners and helping them has been another ministry or work that the sisters are involved in, not only here in Ireland but in England and in California, Nigeria. As in the beginning, the work of the community is flourishing in the service of the poor, as Mary Aikenhead started off in 1819. The community here in Stanhope Street today, there are 15 sisters in it. Some are old, some are involved in the primary school, the secondary school, as outreach workers, as home liaison work. Sister Maria is in the community centre. Some of the older sisters visit in some old people, lonely people in the area as well.
I came here on the 7th of August in 1923. Well, I couldn't describe it, it was that terrible looking. That was the back door now, that door that you come in onto here. And this was the yard. And this was a pony stable. And pigs and everything was in it. And outside the back door was a coal shed. And the water pipe was outside. There was no water in the house.
Do you remember the old street singers?
Oh, indeed I do.
Any stories about them?
Oh, I remember the girl, what did you call her? Oh, come here, I was only in my youth. She come up singing Precious Street, and she was in her birthday. She was a lovely singer. The street singer she was called.
Well, Mr. Rooney had a brother. Bello was his name, and he was a beautiful singer. And it was rumoured now, I don't remember it at the time, but believe that the story I heard was that he was in the Olympia one night, and this English singer, Arthur Tracy, the street singer, did you ever hear of him?
I did.
He was appearing in the Olympia at the time, And I believe the song that Arthur Tracy was singing, your man joined in. And of course you went above everyone else, and Tracy stopped the programme and he got your man to come down and sing with him.
I remember a fella named, what's his name, he had some nick on him, he used to play an old melodeon. Oh, I can't think of it, not Maddox. And he was great, guys. And he'd have a bit of plywood and he put it down on the road and he started doing Fred Astaire. He was very good.
And there was these two old what we used to call tramps. Used to be fairly ragged. And one fella was a long, skinny fella, and the other was a little short, butty fella. Something now like Laddle and Hardy. And they used to go in the buildings, up the streets, they'd walk along the gutter. The tall fella in front, and the little fella behind. And they'd stop maybe 3 or 4 times the whole street, turn round and face the houses. And they had a famous song, the one song they sang. And all I could ever get was the first few words was, as the big ship went down, they sailed for the crown, or something like that.
I remember my mother telling me about them. That's right, that's
Now,
the song they used to sing.
they'd never knock at a door,
That's right.
they'd never put out their hand. As soon as they finished their song, left, sword, and on again. Now they went religiously all round the buildings.
Oh, years ago, they used to walk out in the centre of the street and the fella, because you'd hear him in Mullingar singing, he used to, when he couldn't hear himself, he used to put his hand up to his ears.
Most of them were very poor, you know, they knocked at doors to get a copper. There was two fellas, I don't know whether they were brothers, they used to always sing, when the big ship went down, they called for the crown, and over the loved one, they died like heroes too. For something we must do for the loved ones, the little ones they left behind me. That was the sinking of the Titanic.
I always remembered women going around like, yes, they were very old ladies going around looking for clothes, and whatever you had, you always came around of a Saturday.
That's right.
And then whatever your mother had, not saying she had very much, but if anything got too short for the lads' trousers got too short, she always had a bundle of them. She used to always put them into a pillowcase,
Right.
and she'd hand them out to her. But there were always people went around of a Saturday, and then there used to be an old man used to come around of a Saturday morning all around the square. He used to tell all jokes.
Yeah.
He used to say, "What's the length of a bit of twine?" Now the kids would say, cheers, and he'd say, from one length to the other. And then he'd say, if a man went up a ladder with 20 patches in his trousers, what time would there be, children? And there'd be about 20 or 30 children all around them. And he'd always come at 12 o'clock. No one knew where he lived, but he always came to Cowan Street of a Saturday morning at 12 o'clock. He'd say, if a man went up a ladder with 20 patches in his trousers, what time would there be? Time to get a new pair.
Your mother filled a basin, and then we had the summers were much warmer, and they seemed to last about 3 months, but we colder winters. But she filled a basin of cold water, and the butter would be put into that, and the milk would be brought to a temperature, and that would stand in that in the cold water. But we all survived.
We had no bathrooms.
No
you see,
bathrooms.
in those days. The toilet was in the yard.
That's right.
On Saturday night, how would you wash?
Oh no, top and bottom, that's what it was.
No, I was. No, other people used to bring a bath in front of the
That's
fire
right, that's right.
and do this, but it was all carbolic soap for washing the
There
floors,
was,
not-
yes.
and
And
some-
mother would wash one and take him out, and she'd put the other in, and she'd say, I'll leave you steeping out till I dry him.
When I was young, Corpus Christi was a great day. When you made your communion, oh, it was a great day for you. And then when Corpus Christi came, you went out in your veil and your dress, and you were all dickied up. And you went all around. It started at the chapel in Ackram Street, and then you went all around Oxman Town Road, then you came down Niles Street and Benida Road, Mortar Road, and then you went all down Halliday Road, and then down Sigurd Road, and then up Manor Place, and then up Ockram Street. But there was thousands used to take part in Corpus Christi, which was an awful pity that it did stop.
But it's sad now with the children that are making their communion now. They have nothing really to look forward to. No, with no Corpus Christi
Would you like to see
procession.
Corpus Christi coming back? The
I
streets
would.
decorated?
I would, for the children's sake, yeah. Because when the children make their communion now, people they're going into debt, which is an awful pity, and they can't afford it. And then their dress is not worn anymore.
That's true.
You know, they're just, at least when the Corpus Christi was, they could wear the dress, Corpus Christi, and then they could wear it. Then there was always a few things in the school then afterwards.
We were just saying that we get beautiful communion dresses in here, because the children nowadays only wear them on the day they make their Holy Communion. In them days you had the convent now would have a procession on a Friday, and the children would all dress up. And every Sunday you'd be brought all round the different churches, Marlborough Street, out in Chicor, up to Mount Argus, all that. They'd had a procession each Sunday. And then in this district, down Corpus Christi, you had a procession all around the parish. Everyone would do up their houses and put little altars out and all that kind of thing. Well, it came out of the church, didn't it, and did it go up Manor Place and Oxentown Road? Went all around the buildings actually, and back. And one time we used to go to, when O'Devney came, we'd an altar up there, and they'd have benediction at it. And then back down again to the church again, and another benediction. It used to be lovely. And you'd be singing all the hymns, the organ would be, all the microphones be all around the place. It used to be lovely.
Well, for the last couple of years they had it in the O'Devney. They thought that they went up to O'Devney Gardens, the procession. And then for the last number of years there has been no procession.
It came up, as far as I know, they come up round, as far as I know, it's round Cowper Street, from the church, round Cowper Street and down Oxmantown Road, and right down to Manor Place, out into Manor Street, as far as I can remember. That's the way it was. And you'd have the different, you'd have all the different crowd, nurses and everything in it, you know, the nurses from the different hospitals, and it was very good. I mean, it was a nice picturesque thing, and to be all, and to bring the Blessed Sacrament down.
I was over 30 years on Sigurd Road in the cottages, as you know, which was a very, very neighbourly road, and very nice people, lovely neighbours. And about 16 years ago I moved to Oxmantown Road. It's like a bigger house, you know. I had a boy, and in the cottage, you know, when the kids would come in to play, they'd be all around the bed and everything. So we moved around there. But what else can I say about Sigurd?
Do you remember Mr. and Mrs. Sands?
Oh, Byrne and Ina, did I do? Their house is now up for sale. Oh yes, I remember a lot of people. Who else was on Sigurd at that time? My next door neighbour was Imelda McGurk, who's 12 months dead now in July, and the other side of me was Bobby and Nora Balfe, who are also dead. There's an awful lot of the people. Patty and Paul Dargan, they were the other side, and Paddy Hurley, and oh sure, there's every second house they're gone out. You wouldn't know who was in it now.
Mrs. Woodlock?
Ah, Mrs. Woodlock, the Christie is still there. And there was Lily and Bobby Miller, the number 4, they're both dead too. Your mother, Lord Rester, number 1. To the Rogers, do you remember the Rogers? Sheila and Margaret, they were lovely girls. Father was a policeman.
What about the woman who worked in the asylum? What was her name?
In the asylum?
Directly across from us.
Oh, the big tall woman, O'Neill.
Is she?
Yes, no, her daughter was there, Rita.
Is she dead?
Oh, poor Mrs. O'Neill's dead. She's a couple of years dead. But
and next door, the chap who used to be the bus driver.
Dermot Cummins, yes. Well, he's dead, of course, himself.
Yeah, but she's still in the house?
Well, she's not, she has the house, but she's mostly out with the 2 daughters. She only had the 2 daughters. She hasn't lived in the house for years, but she still has it. And who was the other side of them was... no... There was old people there, I forget their name. Then there was Sand, and there was the Reynolds, Maggie Reynolds, do you remember her? Mr. and Mrs. Reynolds. There was people, Nolan, poor Mr. Nolan was killed in Manor Street in the phone box, if you remember that. Big tall man, yeah. His wife is since dead. Oh, sure, there's terrible changes there.
What was the area like when you moved in for us?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. At that time, one of the lady that's just gone out there, Peggy Somerville, Peggy Purcell, she was then. They lived on Sigurd Road, her mother. She was in her mother's house, number 16, I think. They had the garden opposite, which is all shielded off now. And she used to grow flowers, and she had chickens, and she'd sell. It was called the Country Road. It was a beautiful road and beautiful people, but unfortunately the district has changed a terrible lot since them times, you know. You could let the kids out and you could put your insurance money in the wind and go up the park. We used to have a man, Mr. Halligan was his name, from Leinster Street in Fisbury. He's dead now too. And you could leave the money on your sideboard and he'd pull, we had the up and down windows down, he'd take it up, and when he was retired, and we had him all out in the middle of the road, and he said, well, the people will know me behind better than me face from pulling up the windows, you know.
Transport, 72 bus, you remember that?
It was. 2 pence from Axton Town Road to O'Connell's Bridge, 3 halfpence to Cable Street Bridge.
And what way the traffic flow?
Oh, there was no bother. Oh, it used to go. Those people worked in Jacobs, and they could leave Axton Town Road at 7:30 and be in Jacobs again 8. And the bus would only leave them at Wyntaverton Street, and then they'd walk the rest of the way. Do you see, we'd no traffic lights or park cars.
Yes. Would you like to see a new system? Would you like to see a bus in the area again? Would you like to see
I certainly would, because the way I look at it, 39 and 37 bus is coming from a place where they're after building a whole lot of houses, and there's not many people get out at Stanhope Street. Like the people that get in at Blanchardstown and Castlemark, they're going the whole way into town.
Do you remember Maisie Daly?
I do.
If you remember about Maisie.
She had time to chat to everyone. She was a proper lady. She was a lovely person. Time for everybody.
Yeah. What about your shop now?
When I had to leave my poor shop and all and get out too. I'm in a flat in Briggins Park now for the last 12 years. To leave me lovely corner home where I spent all my life. Big business done that, of course. The money was there to be got from property, and my lady sold it, and not of where I went.
Do you have any old stories about the shop now? Any stories you might like to tell us? Things that happened?
Poor business. In our shop, in the corner. Well, it was great. In the old days, we had the boys and messenger boys going out doing a few orders and the messages. And the women all coming in to have a chat, sit on the old box in the shop, lemonade cooper. We had them all for the First Holy Communion, their confirmation and their wedding. And then grew up and got married and brought back their own, so oh, I could keep you here forever.
I don't think it could be improved. We love every stone in Stoneybatter. To walk down Stoneybatter is heaven to us, because we'll always meet somebody that we know. See all the people going down every Friday and all meeting in the post office. And there's people only come down one day a week and get a few messages on the way up and meet one another. While we don't know everyone by their names, we know everyone to see.
And I tell you what, of a Sunday morning, say a good Sunday morning, and get out there when nobody is around, and look up Manor Street, look at the house both sides, you couldn't ask for a nicer view. Now I've seen Germans, well, they're foreigners, taking photographs, and that's what I said, what the hell are they looking at? So I got out one Sunday morning, I was going early to Mass. I happened to be walking up a town when there was nobody about, and I looked. God's sake, they know what they're looking for. And I have never seen, like, it never appeared in my eyes up to that. But then when I looked at myself, and particularly on that good morning, it's just beautiful. The cattle market. At the Tuesdays and Thursdays were, I think, were the 2 days. And after this day's sales, about 7 o'clock at night, they started shifting the cattle down to the boat. Now that went on all night for the simple reason that the cattle came down in droves. So there might be 500 in one drove, and that'd be gone by. And 2 or 4 minutes later on, another drove, adding up to 500 at a time, and each. And that'd go on all night. And now I often was upstairs in the bedroom there, and you could hear the rumble of the hooves going by. Of course, the dogs they were trained dogs, didn't bark that much. But on a wetter, damp night, if you looked out the top window, all you could see was a moving fog, where the animals would be all sweating and the fog would be going up, and looking down on top, all you could see is a moving fog. Well, that went all right through the night. And that was week in, week out, 2 nights a week, all heading down for the boat. And I often refer to this place as the Wall Street of Ireland, because at that time, back in those days, we had no industries. We had a few, such as Guinness or Jacobs, but outside that we had no manufacturing whatsoever. This country was really living on the cattle export, and it all went out on hoof. But the English buyers used to come up to Pusher Street here, and it was those men that brought in the cash, and it was in Pusher Street the cash deals were made, just like Wall Street at the present time. All the economy, the whole country at that time, was centred on Pusher Street. They even built a rail terminal for cattle alone, that's Cabra Crossing. So it was an interesting fact that the country existed out of this little pocket up here, and that was the eventual outcome of all the pubs. Of course, there was the off shed where people benefited, such as boarding housekeepers and hotels and the pubs. That's one of the reasons all the pubs is concentrated around this area. It's all due to the years ago when the trade of the country existed up here in Pusher Street. And the City Arms Hotel was so exclusive. It was principally buyers that stayed in the City Arms, but you just didn't, your grandfather before you would probably have to be in the City Arms as a recommendation for, say, a newcomer coming in. It was most exclusive than any of the embassy clubs you have, say, around London.
Now those pictures now, they're the originals. They were here when the shop was built, and as far as I know, they were here over 100 years. They're over 100 years here. I knew an old man came in here about 20, 30 years ago, and they were here when he was a child. suppose it's one of the oldest shops in the area, one of the oldest butchers definitely in the area anyway. Thanks very much. Bye now, have a nice weekend. Yeah.
I remember Paddy Crosby well as a young man.
Right.
When he wasn't teaching long when I started in Brunner in the 30s. Famous story told about Paddy. Paddy was doing a line with a very good looking woman. I think she's still alive. And Paddy wasn't married. And he was a bit hard at times. He'd lose his patience. This is a true story. And he gave this lad, at that time now, this would be, we were getting evacuees from England. And Paddy gave this lad an awful hammering. And he was coming up Brunswick Street crying. And this lady stopped him, young lady, asked him what happened. And of course the boy said, Mr. Crosby gave me an awful hammering for something trivial, talking or doing something. And it happened to be Paddy Crosby's girlfriend. And to be honest, she put manners on Paddy shortly after that. Paddy became a changed man. This is a true story. Paddy became more with the boys after that. He was a young man then, a bit frustrated, naturally, and I must say he changed, as you saw in his shows, the school around the corner. But that had led to that. There was his girlfriend that had a great bearing on that case.
He says, there was a window broken in school and the boy said, I broke it.
So the master.
And when I come in the next morning, he wasn't gone to school from work. So I said, come on down, you're going to school. No, I said, you going to school. I didn't say I was going down. So I went down after him. And I asked a young fella, I says, where does brother, I forget his name, says he's in there, brother. Says he, tell him there's a woman wants him out here. So I said, you have a pupil in there called James Duffy? He says, yes. I believe he done something yesterday, broke a window. And he stood, but I says, oh no, he didn't do it. I says, why did you accuse him of it? So he said, the other boy told him, well, I says, if you think he done it, I says, or if you're accusing him now, I says, I'm going to the head brother out in Marino. Brother Noonan it was, I knew him. Oh no, he says, he didn't do it, it wasn't him. But still, it was only an excuse for him to match.
I started in Gabriel School.
What was it like in those days?
Well, it was it's more improved now than it was. It was all interior work was done on it, you know. And I was in Miss Dillon's class when I was 4 years of age, over 4 years of age, and then I was transferred to Miss Gosson. Well, you hadn't much to do, you know, when you were small. But all you had to do was do your arithmetic and sums.
What did you have, chalk, was it?
Geography and that.
Did you have chalk?
Pardon?
Did you have chalk?
The which?
What did you write on? A slate?
Oh, the blackboard.
A little blackboard
and a slate.
And chalk.
You got slates, you know. We had slates. And the master used to go around and examine the slates, see if you're right. If you weren't right,
It's very bad. We brush it before you try tomorrow. Come on up here to me. Just stop there now, look at them, and then look into them, and then up there, looking at them. What do you think?
yeah.
And was there a break in between?
Well, you had a lunch, 12:30 to 1, you know.
You went out to the yard?
Went out the yard to play.
into it.
Yeah.
Pure dump. Now there are 40 of us members playing in it and enjoying every day. We have it planted. We're in for the competitions, in for the tidy area competition. We've unveiled our new banner for this weekend, the start of the festival week. We've the indoor bowling going. Everything in 12 months. We have so much done. It's time now before the new committee come in to sit back and enjoy it, relax.
No work to do.
No more work. No more work. Get away from the work. Give it to somebody new. That's about summing up now. There are 40 people from the area shaking hands with one another and that weren't doing it a year ago.
That's right.
Yeah. And they're here. We have Thar Place and ourselves having the games, and it's just a great achievement for 1 year's work. And we're going to sit back now and let it off to hell. Let somebody else worry about it. Right?
I doubt you do that, Billy. I doubt it.
So we leave it at that now, and we get on with the clean up and the putting of the decorations up. The Lord Mayor and the park section of Dublin Corporation are arriving here this evening for the official opening of the Pool Club in this garden.
I would like to first of all congratulate you all here today on your wonderful Boulevaux garden which you're opening, and to wish you luck and God's blessings on it. I know how hard all of you have worked for this day. Now, to see the beautiful flowers, which I understand most of you planted, is really a joy to see. I understand that the corporation made this site available to you and helped in the development, but the main work has been done by yourselves. I think this is a real tribute to you, and to you I extend my heartiest congratulations. And also, I would like to wish the community, the Stoneybatter Community Week, every success, and to let you know that I hope and we'll be praying that the weather is good for you and that the good Lord will provide you with good weather. And I would like also, while I'm here, to congratulate and thank again on your behalf Guinness Group Sales, who have sponsored many of the events which will be taking place this year. Lovely. Uncle Arthur is part of Dublin, and Dublin is part of Uncle Arthur. And without each other, we wouldn't be the city that we are, or the people that we are. So again, my thanks on your behalf to Guinness Group Sales. Also again to the people who have, as I've said already, developed this garden, my heartiest congratulations to the committee, the hard-working committee, to the area community officers as well of the corporation who have worked hard. And of course I'd like to also pay tribute to my colleagues, Tony Gregory, who helped to get this project accepted by the corporation and the provision of the grant, and also I understand my friend Dr. Dermot Fitzpatrick, who at this time is working to get water pipes for you, a very essential part of maintaining this park. Anyway, again, I wish you luck. Thank you for having me here as your guest to open this for you. God bless you all.
Forever and ever, my heart will be true. Sweethearts forever, I'll wait for you. We both made a promise that we'd never part. Let's seal it with a kiss forever, my sweetheart.
Good. Very good.
You're on camera.
Come ahead. No, not lovely.
Frank,
tell me a couple of things about Auckland Playhouse.
Well, we started in 1988 with an idea that Sister Maria had in the convent here. And we had our first pantomime in 1988, and that was Cinderella. And we went from that then on to a review. And we did our second pantomime last year. And this is our third pantomime.
And what about the future? Are you hoping to do musicals or plays or?
Oh, we'll have to see where we're going to go from here. We couldn't really decide yet. We'll have to wait till we get this over, and then when this is over, we'll decide then. But more than likely it'll be a play for the summer and then another pantomime.
We're ball bouncing buccaneers, 1, 2 and 3, and everything that we can do. We're fearless and brave and we're all fairly strong, but we're rotten and mean true and true. We care not what we do or who we will rob. We plunder and beg and we steal. For us it is only an everyday job. We are 3 robbers full of great sin. We're ball bouncing buccaneers out on the loose. We're greedy and ready to grasp. So be very careful lest you get involved with Bill, with Bert and Sir Jasp. Our job for tonight we will do at midnight. We're going to steal a big egg. Oh, won't Mother Goose get a lovely surprise? Tell anybody we beg. Inviting, exciting, we think you'll agree to see how we nobble the goose. So gory a story for you all to see. Lonely Ermine wrapped in a noose. We're 3 jolly murderers out on the town. Our hearts they are terribly hard. We've been in the business for years and for years, as it says on our business cards. We're 3 bouncing buccaneers out on the loose. We're greedy and ready to grasp. So be very careful lest you get involved with Bill and with Bert and Sir Jasp.
This is, I believe, is your first show with Auckland Playhouse, your first pantomime. Are you enjoying it?
I am, yeah, having a great time. Great fun.
Would you be inclined to do any more?
Oh, yeah, definitely. If there's another one, I'll be on it.
How much work had you got to do to get this pantomime really on the road?
A lot, an awful lot.
How much?
About 3 months.
3 months?
3 months work,
and
yeah.
how many costumes did we buy for the show?
None.
You made them all?
I made them all, yeah.
Including?
I made them all. I made every one of them, yeah. I added everything to most of them, but the most of them I made from start to finish.
A lot of work. And what about, how many of your family are in this show?
4. The whole lot of them. My husband, my daughter, and my son, myself.
And
a lot of hard work, but it's well worth it.
Good. Well, we know, and I know I'm speaking from the staff, that Barbara done a fantastic job on the costumes. And take a bow, Barbara. Come on.
Thank you, Dermot. Thank you kindly.
Okay.
Well, since 1987, I have been visiting in O'Devney Gardens. But in the last year, Sister Peggy and Sister Daniel, they're 2 sisters of the Ladies of Mary, came to work with me. And they were concentrated on personal development. They were going to concentrate on personal development course in O'Devney Gardens. So I have been working in with them. So we ran 2 personal development courses for women over there in number 36. And the idea of the Mass for Bishop O'Devney, for his beatification, came up from the women themselves. So we put our thrust behind them and we supported the women, and I never saw such community spirit in my life. I think it was the fact that the women, you know, had a greater sense of their own self-worth, and they just got the people together, and this was a fantastic project to show that they could do something together.
to extend a warm welcome to Bishop Williams, Father Lawless, Father McAvoy, our Lord and Lady Mayoress, and all the priests of our parish.
As I was walking up here today with Father Frank McAvoy, I thought it was interesting. Here was the bishop and the curate walking up to O'Devaney Gardens. And I saw all the police outside. I said, God bless us and save us. I hope they're not going to reenact what happened to the first bishop and the curate.
And the fruit of that was the Mass and the wonderful cooperation that I saw in the preparation for the Mass and the actual day. And we arranged various committees, one to prepare I was on the Mass committee, the liturgy committee, and I just couldn't get over that 14 out of 15 turned up for preparation meeting. We had all age groups involved in the offertory procession, old people, teenagers, children, and also in the readings and the prayers of the faithful. And the teas were organised by Sister Daniel went off to America, and she's replaced by Sister Rita, and they organised the teas with the women of the flats.
For the past 35 years I've been walking around the city of Dublin, and I've watched the communities grow in Byrne. I was here when the first stone was laid in the Devaney Gardens in the late 50s and early 60s. And I remember communities being taken out of their local environment and put into places like Cabra, Finglas, Ballymun, and other places throughout the city, and Ballyfermot. And I saw those people coming together just like you today and making fantastic communities out of those areas.
This year, I think it's for the 16th time, to welcome you to your annual Mass for the deceased members of the force. the priests and all the parishioners of the Church of the Holy Family, Ockram Street, on the occasion of the centenary celebrations. The parish includes Áras an Uachtaráin in its boundaries, so there is a very special link between us. Ockram Street is a parish of great history, variety and vitality, and has adapted with skill and understanding to the changing circumstances of inner city life. I send my congratulations to all who are associated with the Church of the Holy Family on this very happy occasion. Gunnar Liv Golir, Mary Robinson, President of Ireland.
Before I give you the blessing now, I want to tell you how much I admire the Church, and I congratulate you. And I know that it is a care for the beauty of the Church that shows something very important about the life of the parish.
I don't think I could improve it. I think this locality has everything.
Well, some of the parishioners from East Wall came here to O'Devney Gardens during the floods, after the floods in 1954. The houses were washed out and they actually moved into O'Devney Gardens. It's very similar to East Wall. I felt at home here. I felt I hadn't left home.
I often wondered, do people know really where Stoneybatter is?